See, the important articles for the day are this. The important articles for the day are this. This is written by Duvuri Subbarao. Do you know who this person is? Ex-RBI governor. And the next article is about early childhood interventions with respect to the development and education of the child. This is not that important, and again you have this. This is important for prelims. You will have a lot of names, for example, Israeli, Iran, you have this Israeli Iran, you have this male intelligence. What else do you have here? Heirloom LLAD platforms. These are the kind of names you will be getting in prelims. So this article is important from prelims perspective for next year, and also you might get a question in mains. Okay. Let's briefly look at the articles first of all. Okay, so the first one is about this is not that important. Yeah, see, this is a case study. You can read this from the perspective of aspirational districts. Okay, there is a program of Niti Aayog called aspirational districts. Okay, when you are preparing your governance topic and for your essays, you can take separate case studies like this. Okay, this new district ranks the lowest in the state board. So what are we doing about it? How can we integrate the Niti Aayog aspirational districts program into this, and what is the story? You can read this. Basically, this has got very little relevance directly for your exam, but at max you can use this as a case study in 1 or 2 lines, or maybe in your essay, or maybe in your ethics. That's about it. So don't give a lot of importance to this article except for going through the gist here. And yeah, this is the main issue: the systemic challenges and the low school attendance. How are they interconnected, and what is the outcome? Read it from that problem solution orientation. Here we are looking at the fiscal federalism aspect. How many of you completed your economy classes? Okay. Finance Commission. What is the role of Finance Commission? It is based on Article 280. Is this a constitutional body? Is there a fixed tenure for this based on constitution? These are the kind of questions you will get every 5 years, or how many ever years. It is created through a law. It is not defined in constitution. What is the composition, what is the tenure, etc. is not defined in the constitution. Parliament gets to decide that. Now, coming back to this special fiscal package for Andhra Pradesh, how are you expected to read this article? What is the problem? After the bifurcation, Andhra Pradesh is just not able to generate enough income. Therefore, the center should give money to Andhra Pradesh. There is a need for a special fiscal package for Andhra Pradesh. This is the assertion. And this is not just the case for Andhra Pradesh. This can also set a future precedent as to how we will give money to the states post bifurcation. Here there are some data points. What happened after new states were carved out? Say for example, when Uttarakhand was formed, Uttarakhand had revenue surplus, but when in the case of Andhra Pradesh, it is actually negative, 23% negative. In any other case, like say for example Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh had 17% positive. In Bihar, after Jharkhand was formed, 97% positive. Bihar had to get additional package. Jharkhand had positive. But in this case of Andhra Pradesh did not get additional fiscal package, and that is the main assertion. How do we give it? What will be the kind of sources we need to use? That is the discussion here. Okay. So some special packages were announced in areas like Bundelkhand. For areas like Bundelkhand, after the states were bifurcated. So the expectation from your end is to read these mechanisms and note down the facts. Okay, this can be a important theme, fiscal federalism. See, when you are reading your Lakshmikant center state relations, okay, in that you will see 3 dimensions: administrative, legislative, financial. This third dimension is where this article will fit in. Okay. Now, next article, rewiring the script of early childhood education. You have to remember that the first 6 years, psychologically and scientifically, it is proven that you have the highest psychological development, cognitive development, brain development. So it is important to nurture the child and make them evolve into a human capital for this nation. Today's children are tomorrow's citizens. Okay, tomorrow's strength of that nation. So don't look at investments into early childhood education as a expenditure. It's an investment. Let's call it investment. Investment into human capital. By calling it social welfare expenditure, you are diminishing the importance of this intervention. Now, if you take a look at the statistics given in this, only 9% of the schools, if you take a look at it somewhere here, yeah, only 9% of the schools of pre-primary schools have dedicated funds for early childhood intervention. Okay, and only 15% of the pre-primary children could match basic objects, a skill essential for recognition in class 1. What does this mean? You are not treating the same, you are not treating the early childhood education in the same level as that of a normal education. Another case to the point given in the same article, if you read it there, the amount of money spent for this part, early childhood education, is roughly around 1500 rupees compared to 37,000 rupees. Somewhere here it's given, yeah. It's not even 1500, it's just 1263 rupees annually. When 90% of the cognitive development happens in the first 6 years, 1000 rupees, 1200 rupees for an entire year, that's not enough. Okay, why is it not enough? If you take a look at the Anganwadi workers who are supposed to take care of this whole institutionalized mechanism of early childhood welfare, they're not trained and they don't have enough skills to do that. So we need to educate them, train them, skill them, and provide them financial incentives to actually participate in the system and make it work. That is the whole point of this article. Okay, so there is an important case study in this paragraph, Bal Chopal program. You can note that down in your answers and take it as a case study. Okay, that's the takeaway. see, this issue is evolving. We can take up this issue of judicial services, national judicial services, Article 312. What is this Article 312? Creation of all India services. This is an evolving theme, so I don't think we have to get into the debate, minute level debate here. When it completely evolves, you can read that article. It's not that important now. Now, autonomous warfare in Operation Sindoor. This is the most important article according to me for this day. So, when you're talking about autonomous weapons, what is the first thing that you need to know? Can you tell me? We already discussed. What do you mean by an autonomous weapon system? What is an autonomous weapon system? Something that operates on its own. Now, in any warfare, if you have to divide the operation segments, first is detection, then making a decision whether we should strike or defend, and then actually taking that attack. At these three levels, autonomous weapons are very important because they automate all the three stages. Firstly, you need to understand the technology behind it. Then you have to understand the names of the missiles, the tracking mechanisms, air defense systems, everything that forms a part of the autonomous systems. So at mains level, these names are important. In prelims level, in mains level, they can be used as substantiation. For ethics, you can talk about the ethics of autonomous warfare. I'll just give you one example. The other day, what happened? There is something called the Geneva Convention. Okay, the Geneva Convention on War Crimes. In the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, at one spot, a Russian soldier was injured and he just sat down on the ground. There is a drone called kamikaze drone. It's called the suicide drone. Suicide drone or the Japanese influenced kamikaze drone. Okay. This drone actually went in a close-up shot at a point blank level. It traveled all the way from the sky to the ground and shot him. It actually blew up. These are kamikaze drones, are drones that are like suicide bombers. They just blow up when they see the target. When a soldier is injured and lying on the ground without attacking, an autonomous weapon decided to blow up the target, which is a clear violation of the Geneva Convention of War Crimes. This raises an ethical debate whether we should encourage autonomous weapons that do not discriminate between the soldier who is injured and the soldier who is just attacking them. The purpose of warfare is not to attack, it's to defend. That should be the default mode across the world. Correct? One of them might be an aggressor, but the default mode or the thought process across the world that we need to encourage is to think of defense. The name itself is defense, not attack. We need defense systems, not attack systems. So, as a part of the defense strategy, attack can be a tool, but it cannot be a norm. It is in this context you need to know the weapons that are involved in the Indian defense system. Where are we importing it from? How many of them are indigenously developed by DRDO? And the overall theme of Atmanirbharta in defense manufacturing. These are the issues that are surrounding this article. We've already discussed what is the national um, security doctrine that we should have. What is the importance of weapons, loitering munitions, Huron? All of this are already discussed in the previous classes. So I'm not elaborating. This article is not new, but it's like a summary of all the important themes at one place. So that's the reason it is important for you to read this article. Okay. What is it that you have to understand? India's multi-layer defense system. You have the India's integrated air command and control systems. Where is this? Yeah. Here you have to know about Akash Tir, which is an indigenous system, along with the S-400, which is a Russian imported air defense system. Three components: detection, for which you will use radars, then taking a decision, then finally attack or defend. At these three levels, the corresponding technologies and the actual names of the missiles or the equipment used by our country, they will form the part of our prelims questions. For example, in 2025 prelims paper, you would notice that there is a question on Dornier C-17 Globemaster. See, anytime, I'm just giving you, now that I remember that question, if something, India has C-235, okay, and C-17 Globemaster is USA's military aircraft equipment transporter, a huge aircraft wherein you can store a lot of equipment in that and it can transport military equipment. Okay, so the word C here indicates cargo. Okay, nomenclature can help you understand solve prelims questions, so please focus on that nomenclature. Okay, these are the things that you need to focus on. Other names, the new kind of war, this is the most important thing. There is a paradigm shift that this autonomous weapons bring in. A paradigm shift, one, from actually facing the enemy directly on a battlefront to a coordinated humanless effort as a strategic restraint to defend our territory. This is the new kind of warfare. And even in the kind of warfare, India can send a global message through Operation Sindoor like operations. One, on the level of our technological prowess in ensuring and neutralizing any attack on our country, and two, despite having power, we decide not to use it. We exercised a strategic restraint. We are not an aggressor. That messaging with almost negligible human risk for Indian armed forces is what autonomous weapons can give to this country. That's the kind of conclusion we need to focus on. Okay, so that's about it for today. Please read these articles, pick up the points. This article is extremely important. I'll also be posting it on my Telegram channel after some time. You can note down the highlighted keywords. Okay, see you tomorrow.